What's up guys, this is my crossover. I'm back with another episode of What If Naruto Was Trained by the Dragon King of the Sea, part 5. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like, and if you're new on my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 16 Choose Your Poison. Ultear, it's great to see you again. I haven't seen you since the day you escaped from the facility, Brain said to Jellal, who had a solemn expression on his face. You look so much like your mother now, he said, causing Ultear to scowl, which quickly turned into a smirk. Do not underestimate me, Brain, or would you prefer, Zero? She got under Brain's skin. She then turned to face Jellal. And Jellal, I thought you died in the Tower of Heaven incident? You don't have to remind me of that. I was there. I knew you were up to something. After that event, I couldn't hear Zeref's voice. I thought I was the one manipulating you, but it turns out you were the one pulling the strings. He turned his back on her. I want to repay you for that, but in my current state, I am no match for you. However, I can tell you're here for a reason, and it's not for Nirvana, that much I can tell. He was correct, if the sigh coming from her lips was any evidence. Okay, you got me. I came here for you, Jellal, she said, surprising them. It appears that Master Hades requires your services and has directed me to bring you, she said, her gaze fixed on Jellal. So, come quietly, and I can guarantee answers to the questions you have. She was struck with a dark blast from Brain, but she sprang out of the way. Unfortunately, he will have to decline your offer. Midnight, wake up and take care of this woman, Brain told the sleeping man, who stopped snoring and got up, wide awake. Yes, Father, Midnight said as he stepped off his mat, his face expressionless. Play Fairy Tale Ost Cobra the Poison Dragon, Naruto vs. Cobra. Happy flew at breakneck speed, Naruto channeling his magic into his fists. Cobra and Cubellios moved quickly to the side. He's reading my mind once more. No, I'm not reading your mind. I'm listening to your soul, Cobra claimed, only to narrowly avoid a water-enhanced kick from Naruto. Naruto then stretched his body. Sea Dragon's rotating axe. He managed to land one strike and knock Cobra off Cubellios, but Cubellios caught him. You can hear my thoughts all you want, but if I'm too fast for you, it's pointless. Unfortunately for Naruto, all that spinning made Happy dizzy, causing the cat to wobble while covering him. Don't you dare to puke. Cobra took advantage of the diversion to fly towards Naruto and grip his face. He threw Naruto to the ground and took a deep breath before unleashing his roar. Poison Dragon's Roar. Naruto regained his composure and utilized Dragon Jet to flee while defending Happy from Cobra's attack. Naruto was lying on the ground as he looked up. Naruto clapped his hands and encased them in a bubble. He stretched it, and smaller bubbles appeared inside. Happy regained consciousness and grabbed up Naruto, launching him back into the air at full speed and above the Oración Cease members. Drop me now, Happy said as Naruto tilted his body. Sea Dragon's bubble launcher. Naruto unleashed many quick bubbles, which Cobra had difficulty evading. Cobra was hit and knocked off Cubellios, and the flying snake was also hit. He. Got you. Naruto laughed triumphantly, but the victory was fleeting as the falling Cubellios breathed some poison, which Cobra ingested and utilized to power up. Cobra then extended his palm forward, making a magical circle that unleashed a snake-shaped wave of venom. Naruto swerved to the left, but the poison snake bit his side, causing the blonde to hiss in pain before breaking the curse with his fist. Naruto used Dragon Jet to close the gap and hit Cobra square in the face. Naruto landed on the ground, but was surprised when Cobra jumped up and slashed him repeatedly. No way. Shouldn't he have suffered more damage from that attack? It was also slower than before. I'm feeling a little wobbly as well. Naruto shook his hand quickly and felt a scorching sensation in his left side. I was poisoned. How? Naruto leapt just in time to avoid Cobra's claw attack. Dragon's poison, perhaps. Naruto was chosen by Happy, while Cobra was chosen by Cubellios. Old End. My poison's power has increased, but his resistance to poison is extraordinary. He ought to be dead by now, but he isn't. He took use of his fast thinking and speed. Cobra and Cubellios charged, but Happy used his speed to get them out of there. My body is adjusting to the poison, but it will take some time. My assaults are weaker, and my reactions are slower. I could recoup part of my power if I drank some water. Damn it. I'm not going to lose to this jerk. Happy, turn us around, Naruto shouted of the cat. But you've been poisoned, and even I can tell you need rest. Perhaps Wendy can heal you. Naruto's eyes widened at Happy's proposal. No. I won't let her be a target again. Even if it means dying, I will protect Wendy from him and anyone who tries to hurt her. Normally, Happy would make a joke in this scenario, but even he could tell Naruto's voice was serious. You care about that girl, huh? Don't worry, because after I'm done with you, she and your comrades are next, Naruto thought. For the time being, his eyes were entirely white as he charged Cobra with Dragon Jet, releasing himself from Happy and landing a water-enhanced right hook on him. His fury kept his thoughts from reaching me. Naruto's unreadable move caught Cobra off guard. Never threaten my friends again. Naruto wrapped himself with aura water, causing an afterglow. Therapia. Naruto was free of the poison and returned to normal. That spell not only cures my motion sickness, but it also cures me of poisons. Cobra read those thoughts and realized Naruto would be a difficult opponent to defeat unless he went all out. I'll just have to poison you again, but this time I'll increase the dosage. Both were assisted by their comrades, with Happy grabbing Naruto and Cubellios assisting Cobra. Cubellios then exhaled a toxic vapor and gave Cobra poison to eat. This time, my attacks will finish you off for good. Naruto. Happy drew Naruto's attention by calling his name. There's a river stream nearby where you can get some water and replenish your strength, Happy said, not bothering to disguise anything because Cobra could hear them regardless. I can take you there if you can hold him long enough. Naruto didn't have a chance as Cobra and Cubellios almost tackled them if Happy hadn't dived down and flown towards the river. Listen to Fairy Tale Os Jaku no Tsuchi Ado. It's the only option, full speed ahead, Happy. Naruto said, to which Happy replied with his standard, yes sire, catchphrase. Follow them, Cubellios. The snake did as he got closer to Naruto and Happy. However, Naruto used his bubble launcher spell to try and throw Cobra off course, but he was unsuccessful. I need to pick up the pace. Happy is faster than his snake, but he expended too much stamina flying. Naruto suddenly had an idea. Happy. I'm going to use Dragon Jet, so take a breather and tell me where to go. Happy nodded and his wings vanished, leaving Happy under Naruto's right armpit. Naruto utilized Dragon Jet before Cobra got close enough to tear into the same location he poisoned previously. Naruto, on the other hand, used Dragon Jet to flee with Happy. End of Ost. He won't get very far, even his spell can't cure that. Cobra followed them, this time not in a hurry because he knew he had the upper hand. Naruto's magic failed, and he fell to the ground, almost colliding with a tree if he hadn't immediately summoned his wings to save himself. What's the big id? Naruto. Happy flew over to the fallen blonde, who was hissing in anguish as poison coated the left side of his stomach and traveled to the other side and throughout his entire body. We have to get you to Wendy right away, because only she can heal you from this. Happy pulled Naruto up and began to change directions, only to be told to stop by Naruto. Take me there L like we planned, Naruto said, scarcely able to speak. Before Happy could disagree, Naruto informed him that he may use Therapia after drinking some water. We don't have much time. They'll come up to us, and Naruto won't be able to fight at all. In any case, finding Wendy may take some time. I guess I'll stick to the original plan. Happy carried Naruto towards the river stream as planned, but Cobra was right on their track. They've already caught up. I have to utilize the last of my strength to accelerate. Happy's wings sparkled as his speed increased, approaching that of Naruto's Dragon Jet. The blue cat had a plan in the works. It doesn't matter, he'll run out of steam soon. Then they're toast. Cobra has evil intents and is willing to go to any length to achieve the Oración Cease goal. The forest's outskirts, Ultear hasn't returned yet. Shall I fetch her, Master Hades? A tyrant in a black robe. The peculiar thing about this individual was that he resembled a young Itachi Uchiha, with a few exceptions. For one thing, his complexion was fairer, and he had a little scar over his left eye, though the eye itself was unharmed. He was perched above a cliff. Not yet, Sasuke. Ultear is someone who should never be underestimated, as you learned firsthand. A voice emanated from the lacrima Sasuke was holding in his gloved hand. However, if she does not return within an hour, please retrieve her. Understood, Sasuke said as he switched off the communication gadget and stood up. He gazed across the trees and clenched the lacrima's hand, tearing it into pieces. You're going to pay for my humiliation, Ultear. His left eye was gray with a metallic rim. Returning with Naruto and Happy, almost there. Happy smiled as he approached the stream, but he was slower. Just a little more. Suddenly, Cobra and Cubellios jumped on them and threw them to the ground, barely feet from the stream. Happy's wings vanished, leaving Naruto in anguish and unable to move from his position. You squandered your speed and stamina by using your speed in that short burst, and now the poison is eating you up whole. In other words, you failed. Cobra sprang from Cubellios and lifted Naruto by his hair. You failed, and now your friends will pay the price. Even if you can drink the water, the poison has spread too far. Unless you can drink poison, you are already dead, Cobra said as he tossed him into the stream. I was worried about nothing, I didn't need to do anything, he explained to Happy. Cubellios, it's mealtime. Naruto falls inside the river. How can this be the end? He began to get flashbacks from different periods of his life. Several flashbacks. Listen to the fairy tale Ost Shukume. Awesome. I caught us a fish, Dad. A 9-year-old Naruto exclaimed, pulling a large fish. You are incredible, Naruto, even grown men would struggle to catch that, but that's my son, Jormungandr said as they grilled the fish. Forward to the day Jormungandr vanished. Dad. Where are you? Naruto was running about in the rain, desperately looking for Jormungandr, only to trip and fall on the chilly floor. Natsu. Naruto. Both 15-year-olds were arguing again when Urza intervened. You two should stop fighting already, unless you want to get pummeled by Urza, Lisana said to Naruto, who was nursing a lump on his head. What do you think I am, a masochist? Anyway, he started it, Lisana. I'm not sure what you see in him, he added, turning his head away from her. Lisana burst out laughing at his response. Why? Are you jealous? He blushed in shame. You're much too easy. Shut up, she's gone, Natsu and Naruto said as they stood over Lisana's makeshift grave. Both have promised to quit antagonizing each other and become better friends. Ost end. Flashbacks end. Naruto. Don't give up, exclaimed Happy. You are a fairy tale wizard. You can't lose to some fake dragon slayer. Happy's comments jolted Naruto back to reality, and he began to reflect on the people who mattered the most to him, his comrades who battled alongside him and those who are fighting against the Oración Cease. He is correct. Naruto hissed in agony. I need to think of something. Naruto tried to think of methods to get out of his situation and help Happy, but he couldn't think of anything until he watched some of the poison flow out his body with the water, making him remember what Cobra said before he passed out. Drink poison? It's worth a shot. Naruto began to eat the water alongside the poison, and the poison in his body was likewise consumed until it was gone, and Naruto felt his body become stronger. Enough playing with your food, Cubellios, just eat him already so we can go, Cobra said to his pet snake, which had Happy fastened to a tree and was about to devour him when the river's water exploded into a pillar. What the? Is it possible? The pillar fell, revealing Naruto emerging from the sea, but he was altered. Naruto's appearance has shifted. His hair began to become spikier, with his bangs and locks standing up. His arms were tattooed with crimson snakes, and his eyes turned scarlet. What made him even more terrifying was that he was surrounded by the red poison aura, but it was blue. Basically, he has the hair of a short-haired Super Saiyan, similar to Gohan's. Naruto stated, Poison C mode. He turned to see Cubellios pinning Happy, but the two monsters were terrified and awestruck by Naruto. Cubellios, terrified, was compelled to do as Naruto instructed, letting go of Happy. Are you okay, Happy? Happy was too stunned to respond at first, until he picked up his jaw from the ground and smiled with delight. Naruto, you became stronger. Naruto returned Happy's smile before frowning at Cobra, who was sweating on the side of his head. He smirked and shook his head. So, you got a new look and think you're tough. So what, I'll still take you out, Cobra said as he dashed towards Naruto, his poison-enhanced hands in his fists. Cobra attempted a swing, only for Naruto to grip his right wrist and then block his left leg's kick. Naruto released Cobra, who leapt away from the blonde. You think I'm going to stand here and let you attack me? Not gonna happen. It's my turn. Naruto moved quickly. Play Akira Kushida's Dragon Ball Super Ost Ultimate Battle, Ultra Instinct song. No matter how strong you get, I can still hear your thoughts. And I'm more stronger now that I've ingested the poison. Cobra anticipated Naruto's left hook attempt and dodged to the said, retaliating with a poisonous slash, only for Naruto to block it. Naruto then delivered a headbutt that broke Cobra's nose. What? Cobra took a step back, only for Naruto to land a spinning kick to the back of his skull, forcing him to spit his saliva. Cobra backflipped while channeling a significant amount of poison into his palms, causing a magic circle in each hand to form and release two gigantic serpents at him. Naruto crossed his arms and surrounded them with poison water before releasing them and slaughtering the serpents with each hand as they approached. Cobra had his nose fixed and was deep in meditation. I can still read his thoughts, but his speed and power have improved to the point where reading his mind is no longer useful because my reaction time is now slower than his. It would have been a different story if he was still in his normal form. Poison C mode was the name he gave it. I'll show him the real deal. This time, Cobra linked his hands and produced smaller, but faster serpents, only for Naruto to stand there and release his strength, surrounding himself with his elements and defeating each serpent hurled at him. You have to do better than that. Naruto utilized a poisoned version of Dragon Jet to dash towards Cobra, who was becoming desperate. Poison isn't my only weapon. I can also use sound wall. Cobra shielded himself from the attack with a wave of pure pressure, only for Naruto to push his way through and get close enough to Cobra to unleash a barrage of punches. Aura, 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 Naruto chanted until he delivered one more uppercut. Aura. The impact was so powerful that Cobra flew 50 meters into the air before losing consciousness. End of Ost. Naruto reverted to his regular form and grasped Cobra before he could fall to the ground. If I let him fall to the ground, he'd most likely die. That power felt amazing. Maybe one day I'll be able to use it again. He dropped Cobra and noticed Cubellios slither towards its master and nuzzle its face next to him. You sure are a good pay. No, a good friend to your master, Naruto said before smiling at Happy, who was taken aback by Naruto's display of power, until he sprang up in joy, that is, until Naruto fell unconscious. Naruto. Returning to Jellal's gang, Midnight's harsh voice reverberated through Ultear's ears as both warriors were covered in bruises. Ultear got some hits on Midnight, and the boy did the same. Jellal and Brain were watching their fight. I guess they're evenly matched. Well, that's enough rest, Jellal, release Nirvana, Brain said, only to be struck with a light enhanced punch to the stomach. Why you? Said Brain, pushing Midnight to turn around. Father. Midnight threw down his defenses, allowing Ultear to produce many orbs and assault him with them, forcing Midnight to join his father. So, you've decided to join me? Ultear grinned, which Jellal reciprocated. Welcome to the Grimoire Heart, Jellal. Silva's address. Silva's body had not been recovered, but there were trails leading towards the jungle. Several creatures were slaughtered within the forest, with some animals being eaten alive. We see a shadowy figure with a dark aura surrounding him. You had me fooled for a second. I thought you were going to let them kill me, Ultear said to the falling Brain. Oh, some of his marks have disappeared? She remarked nonchalantly. 2 marks remain, which means Zero's awakening will happen sooner than expected, as only 2 members of the Oración Cease remain. Ultear was perplexed until Jellal explained. Each line represents a member of the Oración Cease. They are seals linked to each member via organic link magic, including Brain. So, when a member is defeated, a line disappears. When all of them disappear, the Zero persona takes over, and the only option we have now is to kill him while he is knocked out. Ultear drew an ice blade and approached the fallen Brain. One less threat for us. She raised her weapon and brought it down, only to be hit by a lightning bolt. She did, however, manage to get out of the way of it. Foolish woman, said Brain's staff, surprising the two. You would dare to attack my comrades. Is there a sentient staff? I didn't believe he'd have that. Jellal's musings were interrupted when the servant attempted to peer beneath Ultear's skirt, only to be struck with a kick to the skull. Dirty old staff. She stomped on it, making it scream for mercy, but she stomped on it for another minute or so before she was happy. You're a demon, exclaimed the sentient staff, who miraculously recovered. You dare to attack the 7th member of Oración Cease. 7th member. That's stupid. The Cease from Oración Cease means 6. Shouldn't your group call itself the Oración Siete or even the Oración 7? Ultear remarked, dropping the staff's jaw. Shut up. I'll show you how to disregard the mighty Cladoa, he said as he turned to face Midnight. Prepare to. He couldn't finish because his form dissolved to dust, leaving behind an orb that was apparently the source of his lightning magic. That was a waste of time. Come on, let's see if the legend of Nirvana is true. Jellal's palm lit, and a magical circle appeared, unleashing energy towards the sealed Nirvana. From Lucis Group, Lucy had defeated Angel using a new spell named Uranometria, which Hibiki's archive had only uploaded once. Several things had happened, such as Gemni siding with Lucy after witnessing Lucy beg Angel to release Ares from her contract after she fought Loke. Miss Lucy. Lucy said as she noticed Wendy and Carla arriving on the scene. Lucy was relieved to see Wendy because she and the others needed their injuries to be healed, as Sherry had been knocked unconscious earlier in the struggle with Angel's spirits. Group Grey. How could I lose? Racer was on his knees, unable to stand. Leon had learned that Racer's magic hindered his victim's perception and gave the impression that he was employing superspeed. He duped Racer into thinking he betrayed Grey by constructing an ice tower that appeared to freeze his fellow wizard. He moved Racer far enough away for Grey to fire an arrow at him. I'll take you with me. Racer yanked up his jacket, revealing powerful lacrima that was enough to knock them out. Leon rushed him and shoved himself and Racer off the cliff. Leon. Grey yelled, only to realize he was too late. The lacrima detonated as soon as they came close to the earth, but the explosion was averted when the flames were engulfed by the unexpected apparition of Fairy Tail's fire dragon slayer, Natsu Dragneel. Kurama followed him and managed to catch Leon and Racer. Where in the hell did you come from? Returning to Jellal's gang. As Jellal unlocked Nirvana, one more mark vanished from Brain's face, and a dark aura briefly enveloped him. Ultear and Jellal exchanged a fleeting glance with him before returning their attention to their work. Naruto and Happiness. Naruto. Wake up. Happy tried to shake Naruto up but failed. Think Happy. What is Naruto most envious of? He had an illusory lamp over his head. Hey Naruto. Myris making ramen. This had the expected effect, as Naruto immediately awoke. Ramen. He exclaimed, looking around to see a whistling Happy. You tricked me. Naruto managed to stand and took advantage of the opportunity to drink some water from the river stream. Let's go, Happy. I should have recharged my magic enough for me to use Dragon Jet for a little while. Naruto turned to find Cobra unconscious, with Cubellios lying next to him. Even dark wizards need allies, Naruto said as he grabbed Happy and flew away from the place with Dragon Jet. From Natsu's group, are you sure it was a good idea to leave that Oracion Cease guy alone? Gray asked Kurama, who was intent on reaching Nirvana. Carrying him would slow us down, and besides, he is already bound by your ice constraints. We need to stop them from reaching Nirvana. We need to get to the others and find it soon, Kurama said flatly. Then he sensed a familiar presence. Looks like the winner of the fight is here, Natsu realized, and he also sensed a familiar presence. Naruto? He asked, and shortly Naruto appeared in his dragon jet, but he released his spell as soon as he was beside them. He was sprinting normally, Happy perched on his shoulder. Happy. Natsu. Happy gripped Natsu's face, causing him to tumble and then roll into a tree. Everyone except Naruto, who was giggling, felt like slapping themselves. From Lucy's group, thank you, Wendy, Lucy said, her injuries mended, but she still had some minor bruises. The others were in a similar condition, but Wendy had cured them and they could walk again. It's no problem, Miss Lucy. I'm just glad you're all okay. Wendy wiped sweat from her brow, plainly fatigued but not wanting to disappoint everyone. Carla spoke up, her voice stern. There's a problem. Carla made Wendy shudder, knowing what was about to happen. Your healing spell takes a lot out of you. You used it too many times. I can already see that your body is feeling the effects, you're out of breath and sweating. You need to take it easy, so no more healing until you've recovered. Carla sounded like a mother reprimanding her kid. But Carl. Wendy was cut off by Lucy. It's fine, Wendy. She has a point though. Take some rest, it must be quite exhausting for you to continuously use your magic to heal us. Lucy apologized, and the others agreed that Wendy should rest, despite the fact that they were in worse form just moments before. Natsu's voice boomed out, everyone. Everyone turned to see Natsu and his group, and Wendy was overjoyed to see him. You beat him. Wendy hurried up to him and grabbed him, forcing him to hug her back, until they both observed practically everyone, except Leon, Natsu, and, shockingly, Kurama, giving them creepy smiles. Sorry. Wendy and Naruto both moved back. No, it's okay. Naruto exclaimed, blushing. This is not the time for games, everyone. Exclaimed Kurama. Brain has probably already arrived at Nirvana. Hello little kitties. He drew Carla and Happy's attention. Find them in the air. All of the flyers in their group are out. Excuse me. There's something called manners, Carla grumbled, activating her wings to check for an overhead perspective. I should be able to fly now, Happy said as he focused and summoned his wings. Both cats flew into the air. They both took off flying south in search of the remaining Oracion Cease members. Pretty boy. Use your magic to establish a telepathic link with them, Kurama said, referring to Hibiki, who did so after causing screens to emerge so the cats could communicate with them. The location of Jellal and Ultear. I can't believe you're willing to join me after what I've done to you. Why? She questioned, only to be met with silence. Because, even if you used me, our goal of resurrecting Zeref remains the same. Until that day, we are allies for now. The ground began to tremble, and out burst a pillar of black light, surrounded by dark streams that ripped through the clouds. Carla and Happy, that light. It must be Nirvana, Happy said, but it didn't make Carla feel any better. Everyone, there's a massive pillar of light north of you. We're flying towards it right now. Can you, Blue Pegasus Male, track us down with your magic? Carla communicated with Hibiki telepathically. Hello, my name is Hibiki. Yes, I have now latched onto your positions. Stay hidden from the enemy until the others arrive, Hibiki instructed them via their mental link. Jura's address. Nirvana's spell had an immediate effect on Hatai. He transformed into his genuine self, not the person who liked money but the person who loved his fellow man and wanted to find his long-lost brother. He and Jura teamed together to stop the other Oración Cease members after some banter. Jura was now linked to Hibiki's telepathy and informing everyone that Hatai was on their side. They each made their way to Nirvana. The sight of Sasuke, that light. Nirvana, and no doubt Ultear is there. Sasuke's left eye became metallic again, seeing red and acting more like a scanner, allowing him to zoom into the light. 15 kilometers away, a magical circle with a pinwheel symbol emerged beneath him, and he vanished into thin air. Before leaving, Sasuke did not notice a pair of entirely white eyes staring at him from below. The figure growled and followed the scent of Sasuke. In collaboration with Jellal and Ultear, Nirvana had sprung from the earth, revealing itself to be a movable ancient metropolis with 6 spider-like legs. Ultear and Jellal were now on the altar, allowing them to manually govern Nirvana. Nirvana is mobile. Well, that makes transporting it easier, I suppose, Ultear remarked nonchalantly as he gazed down at the devastated city. Could use some redecorating, too. She and Jellal were too preoccupied to observe Midnight's finger twitch. Outside of Nirvana, you guys, exclaimed Happy and Carla to their pals, who had just arrived to see Nirvana's waking. They stated that the light had faded and Nirvana had transformed into a mobile metropolis. I hope they have a plan. This guy is the leader of the Oración Cease, so he must be strong, Lucy said to Wendy, who agreed but also expressed her thoughts on the subject. But don't forget, we outnumber him and have Naruto and the others with us. Wendy was confident in Naruto, reaffirming her trust in him. Lucy had a new thought after hearing Wendy mention Naruto again. She has faith in Naruto. You're right, Wendy. We will definitely win this battle. Both ladies were smiling now, but it was fleeting as Nirvana began to move. It can move, exclaimed Naruto and Natsu, implying that they couldn't ride it. Naruto had already used up all of his therapia for the day, and Natsu had no defense against motion sickness. What are you worried about, Naruto? Don't you have a spell you can use to prevent motion sickness? Lucy said, and Naruto responded with dread. Therapia is less effective with each use. It lasts less than 48 hours every time I use it for motion sickness. It was originally meant for curing myself from strong poisons and diseases, as well as small wounds, and I used it earlier against that Cobra guy. Naruto sighed in disbelief until Wendy spoke up. I have a spell that can cure motion sickness for a while at least, Wendy stated, shocking everyone in Fairy Tail. Naturally, Natsu was the first to react, followed by Naruto. Are you sure you can handle it? You must be tired from using your healing spell earlier, Lucy inquired of Wendy, who simply nodded. Everyone is doing their best, it's the least I can do to help, and besides, I have to correct my mistakes, Wendy said quietly to herself, but the other Dragon Slayers heard and clenched their fists at the implication. Wendy was about to use her spell when several kunai were hurled at her, only for Naruto to lift her up and avoid the projectiles. Naruto fixed his gaze on the person in front of them. Sasuke had come. That woman is causing me problems. Now I have to kill some pests, Sasuke said, as if they weren't even there. He drew his katana and charged forward. Gray, who had created his own sword, blocked his blade blow. You guys go ahead, I've got this. Gray instructed them to continue. I'll catch up after I beat this guy. We don't have much time. Find out what they're up to. The others grudgingly left to pursue Nirvana, with Happy and Carla lifting Natsu and Wendy into the air to follow Nirvana. Why can't you fly? Naruto inquired of Kurama, who was running behind him. Because I don't have wings. It's so obvious, moron, Kurama responded, forcing the two to begin squabbling at such an inopportune time. Back with Gray and Sasuke, both combatants exchanged stares and waited for the other to make the first move, until Sasuke did. Gray blocked it, but he also sensed something unusual with Sasuke's blade and let go of his ice sword to watch it, as well as the airspace it was in, warp and shatter. My sword has been scratched away. Gray maintained a defensive stance as Sasuke prepared to kill, his left eye reverting back to its metallic form. You were very foolish to face me alone, and now I will kill you where you stand, Sasuke said as he prepared to attack again. Gray leapt out of the path to dodge Sasuke's sword strike, and part of the earth beneath him was scraped away as a result of his attack. Scan. Sasuke's left eye started scanning Gray's body. His name is Gray Fullbuster, and he has the ability to manipulate ice and mold it into anything he can imagine. My chances of winning are 73%, and he has no chance against me. Listen to Naruto Ost bad situation. Sasuke rushed quickly and was now in front of Gray, with Gray hardly registering it as Sasuke landed an uppercut on him and then attempted a slash at him, only for Gray to regain his composure and duck underneath. However, the distorted space drew him back upwards, allowing Sasuke to kick him. Gray recovered and summoned a bazooka to attack, only to discover that Sasuke had vanished. Gray then blocked Sasuke's sword with his bazooka and jumped out of the way to avoid Sasuke's distortion. He's quick on his feet. Sasuke vanished from Gray's eyesight once more, forcing the ice magician to remain on guard. Earlier, his sword was distorting the space and scraping the earth. Gray sensed Sasuke behind him, but he then vanished. He's not utilizing speed, but teleportation, and he's teasing me. Sasuke booted Gray from behind, but he kept his gaze fixed on Sasuke's feet. He still touches the earth when teleporting. That's his flaw. Gray placed his hand on the ground and waited for Sasuke's next strike, focusing on any movement or sound. Now, as soon as Sasuke emerged, his legs were immobilized. What? Sasuke used his katana to scrape away the ice, like he had done previously with the ground. Gray took advantage of the opportunity to seize his wrist and freeze it, along with his katana. He froze my sword. Sasuke used his own strength to burst through the ice on his hand, but it was too late to prevent Gray from smashing his katana. Gray now had an ice blade protruding from his right elbow, which he used to cut Sasuke, who leapt out of the way. You're too slow. What? A little scratch appeared on Sasuke's left cheek, drawing blood. End of Ost. I don't know much about your ability, but you seem to rely on your sword for offense. Gray then pointed at Sasuke. The fact that you use teleportation means that you manipulate space, and that attack you use Toscrape sends whatever you target into another dimension. You need a weapon to use your spatial magic for offense by channeling it through that weapon. Let me guess, next you're going to remark, just because you discovered my power doesn't mean you'll win. Just because you discovered my magic doesn't mean you'll win. Sasuke realized then that Gray had accurately predicted what he said and basically expressed it exactly as he said it. There isn't any way. Is he able to look into the future? What the earth are you doing re-evaluating your odds of victory? It has been reduced to 60%. You really are something, Gray Fullbuster. How do you know my name? I never told you. Gray signaled with his hands to cast a spell on Sasuke if he moved. Answer my question. My left eye has its uses. I also know that your magic allows you to manipulate ice and shape it into anything you can think of. With it, your weaknesses are no longer hidden. Gray took notice of Sasuke's left eye as he said this. That eye must be scanning me. That's how he discovered my name and magic. What else has it discovered? Gray didn't have time to think as he answered to Sasuke's blow with another katana he conjured from nowhere and dodged the distortion that ensued. Did you think I only had one sword? Now, let me show you the power of Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke conjured another sword and began to swing it, but he stopped himself since he and Gray were filled with bloodlust. This sensation, deadly intent. Sasuke was sweating profusely from his brow. Gray, on the other hand, was terrified. Hunter x Hunter Ost obvious power distinction, exactly like Deliora. Gray saw flashbacks of his family's deaths, including his master and Leon. But then he remembered his earlier battles, how he was no longer the same fearful little boy. No. Whatever comes my way, I will defeat. Gray regained his calm and turned to his side, joined by Sasuke. It slowly emerged from the trees. It was a humanoid monster with silver fur all over its body save for a pair of ripped trousers. It was 7 feet tall and had the visage of a wolf. A werewolf, Sasuke said, recalling the legend surrounding the creature. He remembered his mother telling him a werewolf story when he was a child. Werewolf? A creature that is half man and half wolf. My mother told me stories about them. Gray and Sasuke thought as the wolf roared and launched a strong shockwave that shook the ground. It's strange to believe a fabled creature would be here. Scan. Sasuke scanned the creature, but all he found was a name. Silva Uzumaki. This drew Gray's attention, who recalled Silva from earlier. Remember that Demon Blades guy? Is he this creature? Gray's musings were interrupted when Silva appeared in front of Sasuke with breakneck speed. Fast. Sasuke, who was slow to react as Silva tore off his left arm, shared Gray's concerns. End of Ost. Gah! Cried Sasuke, clutching what was left of his left arm. He grabbed my arm. Silva had risen over Sasuke and was about to plunge his claws into him when Gray shielded him with ice spikes that functioned as a shield. Silva quickly ripped through them, but Gray had already gotten Sasuke away from the area. What are you doing, you fool? Growled Sasuke, but was met with an angry response. Saving your life, that's what. If you don't want to die, I suggest teleporting us out of here. Gray made an excellent point, much to Sasuke's chagrin, but Silva was already on their tail. Sasuke still had one of his katanas and used it to attack Silva, who dodged to the side, but the katana's distortion forced Silva to move in closer, allowing Gray to shock him with his ice. Silva recoiled after being dazzled by the strike. I froze his eyes, but it won't hold him for long, Gray said, as Silva shoved him and Sasuke away with his left paw. Gray made some ice to soften the blow. I need to get away. Sasuke used his magic to teleport away, dragging Gray along with him. Silva broke through the ice on his eyes and glanced around for Gray and Sasuke, but they were nowhere to be found. Both Sasuke and Gray were panting heavily, particularly Gray, whose ribs had been damaged by Silva's final hit. "Why did you save me?" Gray asked, alluding to Sasuke teleporting them both to this portion of the forest. "Don't get me wrong, you're an enemy, but you saved me from that wolf earlier, so I owed you one, and now we're even," Sasuke said, alluding to the time Gray used his ice to defend him from Silva after his arm was severed. Sasuke cut a piece of his cloak and placed it into his arm stump to stop the bleeding. "I can only teleport a maximum of 18 kilometers away from my last location," Sasuke revealed before activating his eye. "He's already making his way here, slowly, but that gives us time." Sasuke peered around and noticed a few more folks. "Two people are approaching. I can't find out information unless they are in front of me. You better get out of here, because I won't save you again." "I didn't ask you to, but thank you," Gray said as he rose up and checked his ribs. "Thank goodness I had my ice to protect myself from his blow. My ribs would have been fractured by now if I hadn't." "You'll fall the next time we fight," Sasuke remarked, his tone tinged with arrogance. He vanished, leaving Gray alone. "That guy is arrogant, but I can't sit here and mope about it. I have to get out of here." Gray went to the trees to hide from any potential attackers. Gray leapt from tree to reach his friend. At the city perched atop Nirvana. "I can't believe this is Nirvana. This place must have been a town once, and I'm sure there were a lot of people here," Wendy remarked as she and Lucy glanced around. They were amazed by the fact that some of the structures were still standing and had not fully fallen owing to age. "They must have been powerful wizards, because they created Nirvana," Lucy remarked as she and the others looked about. "These structures remind me of a spot Gramps showed me to when I was a kid," Naruto reflected before proceeding. Naruto gazed around, noting that several structures had various symbols etched on them. "They look like guild emblems," Naruto said as he approached one that was buried in mud, yet he had an odd feeling he had seen it before. He touched it, wiped away the dust, and recoiled in surprise. This isn't possible." Returning to Gray. "I hear two voices. Are they the guys that the douchebag told me about?" Gray came to a halt and looked down, ready to strike if he was discovered. "I can't fight in the open, so I'll have to rely on the shadows for now." "I can sense someone nearby, Sir Richard," Jura said as he and Hatai, whose true name was Richard Buchanan, the brother of one of Urza's Tower of Heaven friends, rushed closer to the position of the mobile Nirvana. Gray jumped down and landed in front of them, exclaiming, "Old man." He winced slightly and briefly grasped his ribs. "Sir Gray, I am delighted to see you," Jura said, but then Richard hugged the ice wizard, making Jura sweat as Gray humorously told Richard to let him go. Richard dropped Gray and asked what was wrong as he yelled in anguish. Gray spoke to them about Silva and Sasuke, as well as how Nirvana became mobile. "Then we must hurry and leave, in the name of love," Richard exclaimed, as the other two agreed, sans the love bit. However, a growl could be heard and the trees began to shake. "It's him again," Gray said as the trees in front of them toppled and Silva rushed through, heading for the three. Jura, on the other hand, immediately fashioned a rock pillar from the ground, just as Silva approached him and hurled the wolf aloft. Richard then softened it, catching Silva and dragging him underground. Despite Richard's best attempts, Silva began to battle through it and was showing indications of becoming free. "Jura, Gray, please continue without me," the other two were taken aback. "What are you saying, Sir Richard? I will not abandon you to face this monster alone. Nirvana must be stopped, even if it means my death." Silva broke free, but Gray shoved him back with a bazooka blast. Jura then erected more rock pillars and hurled them at Silva, who was smacked square in the face, but to their surprise, Silva easily smashed through them. "He's right. If you fight him alone, you'll die." Gray continued firing, with Silva coming towards them and evading the shots. Jura clapped his hands, and the granite formed by the fractured pillars he made grew to the size of huge hands, holding Silva for a while. "Don't forget, you still have to find your brother. You can't give up," Jura told him before concentrating and causing the rock hands to burst. "We shall defeat him together," Silva roared, but Richard swiftly softened the earth to stop him. "I'm afraid I can't. Right now, Gray is injured and barely using those spells. You must find Wendy and let her heal you, Gray. Jura, you cannot waste your strength on this creature. You will need it against Brain. If you waste your power here, Brain will take the opportunity to finish you off in your weakest moment." The bald man stared at him and said, "Jura, This may be the last time we fight side by side, so thank you for giving me a second chance. Sir Richard, you were once my enemy, but you are now my comrade. I will respect your wishes, but I also promise you this. Jura hardened the ground and confined Silva for a little longer. I will find your brother Wally Buchanan and make sure that he will remember his brother. This made Richard shed happy tears. Thank you, my friend, he said, but Jura saying Wally's name reminded Gray of Wally from the Tower of Heaven. Wally Buchanan, the two guys said, looking at Gray. I met him, both of their eyes widened, and Richard's eyes welled up with tears. He is alive and well, traveling the world. He is a friend of my comrade. I promise you that I will tell him about what you've done here. Richard openly sobbed as Silva was released. This time, he was surrounded by a silver glow. The sun was lowering and night was approaching, with the moon beginning to appear. He's become stronger. Go now. Richard liquefied the ground beneath the two and used it to transfer them away from the place, with Jura assuming charge later. I have many regrets. I allowed my heat to be filled with darkness, but now the light shall be my redemption. Richard moved to assault Silva, and the werewolf charged him a well. The location of Ultear and Jellal, Brain's body was encircled by a dark aura, his complexion lightened, his clothes changed, and his hair lightened. His pupils were crimson as he opened his eyes. He rose to his feet. Destruction. Zero has awoken. Naruto's gang. Naruto ran into the others, but he was lost in contemplation. Wendy was concerned about him and inquired what was wrong, jolting him back to reality. He told her it was nothing and would have been questioned again if Zero's power hadn't been unleashed, compelling them to look towards the altar. Back at the spot where Naruto cleaned the dirt from the wall, a familiar symbol was exposed. Kate Shelter's guild mark. What was the significance of Wendy's guild's mark? That can't be a coincidence, I know. Can't worry about it now, we have to beat that brain man first. Naruto and the others dashed towards the altar, where Jellal and Ultear were fighting Brain, or rather Zero. Kurama stayed silent, but not because he was lazy, but because he was deep in meditation. I can feel that Brain guy's power, but it feels strange, as if he transformed into someone or something else. Kurama followed the others. Gray and Jura, that thing is Nirvana, and it's going somewhere. Gray and Jura ran, and Gray used his ice to slide himself up on one of Nirvana's legs, while Jura used his earth magic on another. Ultear versus Jellal and Zero, die, scum. Zero swung his arm, channeling darkness in his left hand and launching a wave of dark shades towards the former council members. Zero scooped up his staff and flung it at Jellal, who smashed it instantaneously with a blast, but this gave Zero an opportunity to close the gap and land a dark-enhanced uppercut. A possibility. Ultear tossed her orb and gestured with her left hand. The orb multiplied and struck Zero, who created a shockwave by channeling his evil magic into his body. One orb got close to him, and Ultear caused it to explode in front of him, apparently hitting Zero. The smoke dispersed, revealing a healthy Zero. "Jellal!" exclaimed Natsu and the others. They found Jellal and Ultear, as well as Midnight, who had fallen. "Jellal, I say. I heard his voice but never met him in person," Lucy reflected, Wendy's face mournful from what had transpired before. Everyone then observed Brain's, or rather Zero's, new appearance. "This is Brain's true form, Zero, and he's much crazier than the one you fought," Ultear explained, as Zero took advantage of the opportunity to launch dark blasts at our heroes. Jellal and Ultear had joined Natsu and the others. Then Natsu realized something about Ultear. You smell exactly like the old guy from Galuna Island I fought, and you disguised yourself as a woman this time." This made his comrades and even Ultear sweat, except for Naruto. "So, this woman is actually a man?" Naruto inquired, but backed up as Ultear yelled at the two. "I'm a woman. The old man was the disguise," she exclaimed, regaining her composure. "My name is Ultear Milkovich." "Ultimate milk sandwich," exclaimed Naruto and Natsu simultaneously. Ultear was irritated, while their comrades nervously smiled at the duo's folly. Jellal also chuckled uneasily, while Zero paused his strikes and smiled. He was referring to Naruto and Natsu, saying, "You two would make great comedians. But enough of this, it's time for your destruction." He gathered his darkness magic in his hands, transforming it into a swirling vortex. "This is the end," he exclaimed, releasing a dark wave that emitted a strong explosion. Zero's grin faded into a scowl as the smoke cleared. Gray and Jura had come. With their magic, they protect everyone. Everyone was overjoyed to see Gray, who was grinning at everyone, only to be surprised to see Ultear. Inside his head, he could see a mental image of his old teacher, Yar. She has the appearance of. When Ultear returned his gaze, she realized Gray had made the connection. "Stop daydreaming, Ultear, and take this seriously. I know you were holding back your true power against Midnight, but you can't risk it against Zero. She turned to Jellal, but he spoke again before she could finish her sentence. I'd look after him myself, but I'm still not at full strength. Ultear, the daughter of Master Gray was going to shout to her when everyone heard a wolf howl. That wolf guy has already killed Hatai. Gray had left himself open to Zero's black blast, but Naruto had pushed him to the ground before it could harm him. What are you doing spacing out for? There's a bad guy right in front of us. Naruto snapped Gray back to reality. I know that, but thank you for saving me, Gray said as he rose up again, ready to strike. Naruto, on the other hand, was giving Zero a hard stare. Hey, Brain, or whatever your name is now. Naruto attracted the attention of the crazed dark wizard. Tell me something before I kick your ass. Zero decided to indulge him and listened. What does Kate Shelter have to do with Nirvana? Everyone was surprised, especially Wendy. And Naruto? What are you saying? Wendy inquired, only for Naruto to remain mute and fix his gaze on Zero, who suddenly had a neutral expression. So, you found some clues that linked Kate Shelter to Nirvana, huh? He laughed in response to Naruto's remark. Very well, I'll tell you the connection between Nirvana and Kate Shelter, Jellal said, drawing everyone's attention and delaying the casting of his magic. Wendy and Carlo were especially eager to learn the truth. The Nervits, the people who created Nirvana, are the ancestors of the members of Kate Shelter, with the exception of Wendy and her cat. If they were astonished before, this information hit them like a ton of bricks. Master Rubol and the entire guild. Are they the descendants of those who created this weapon? Wendy's world was shook, but Lucy put her hand on her shoulder and pulled her out of her thoughts. That was a long time ago. We can't blame your guildmates for what people did centuries ago, Lucy reassured her, prompting Wendy to smile. They all turned to face Zero, ready to fight him together, while Natsu preferred to fight Zero alone. Zero's hands were covered in darkness magic, and he moved them around before unleashing a tremendous energy blast at them in an attempt to wipe them out. A few kilometers from Nirvana, that is Nirvana, the weapon sought by the Oración cease. Sasuke stood on top of a tree and bandaged what was remained of his arm with a ripped piece of material from his cloak. On Nirvana, he used his vision to look for lifeforms. Ultear is on there. Good, I can transfer us out of here and back to base, Sasuke said, but before he could teleport, Silva jumped out and joined Sasuke in teleporting to the city within Nirvana. Returning to Natsu's group, as Zero's blast appeared to hit them, Jura used his magic to protect everyone and then send them away in a large rock sphere, further destroying the altar area. However, Jura was injured by Zero's attack and was on one knee, his body bruised. Other men would have died in that attack, but you not only survived but also saved your comrades. For the time being, at least. To finish off Jura, Zero pushed his right hand closer to his face. Sea Dragon's Roar. Naruto's voice rang out, as he unleashed one of his hallmark techniques on Zero. Zero was shoved to the side, but he regained his footing with little injury. My attack isn't powerful enough. Naruto assumed a fighting posture and prepared to face Zero. Sir Naruto, please get out of H here, Jura exclaimed, only for Naruto to look at him and respond. No way, old man. I didn't escape your rock ball to flee. I'm leaving after I beat this guy and prevent him from hurting anyone else. With Fairy Tail's quickest wizard charging Zero, Naruto's hands were suddenly channeling water. Along with Natsu's group, he protected us from his onslaught, but that means he had to face it head-on. The old man is in danger. These were Gray's thoughts as he looked about, one sight in particular making him sweat drop. Natsu's torso sunk into the earth, his legs swinging around. How in the hell did you get stuck on the ground? Gray expressed his surprise as he retrieved Natsu from the ground. Where's Naruto? Wendy inquired, causing everyone to notice that the blonde had actually vanished. Then Kurama realized where Naruto was. Shit. The brat avoided being cast out by the bald guy's magic. That can only mean that he's still with Zero. Kurama's statements worried Fairy Tail's wizards, notably Wendy. We need to go back for him. Wendy made her intentions clear. Jellal, on the other hand, spoke before she could get to Naruto's location. Don't be concerned about Naruto. He should be able to keep Zero at bay, or at the very least distract him long enough for us to destroy Nirvana. Jellal perplexed everyone, and they all turned their attention to him, with Natsu ready to punch him if he said anything out of line, but he was already tempted to do so because of his great disdain for Jellal. Let him explain before you all attack him. He has a history with Zero, well, when he was Brain, and is well versed on Nirvana's strengths and flaws. So, now is your chance to stop this thing and defeat the Oración cease. Ultear blocked Natsu's path and turned to face Jellal. Explain your strategy before things get violent. The Kate Shelter and Fairy Tale wizards were cautious, but chose to listen, despite Natsu's best efforts. Nirvana is powered by several lacrima, which are connected to a large one, Nirvana's main power source. If we blow it up with a bomb, Nirvana will perish, along with Zero and his goals. Jellal informed them and then discussed Naruto. We'll have enough time to evacuate everyone if we set a timer. I have just the right spell for us. And we should trust you guys because? Natsu questioned him, making the blue-haired man gaze at him sternly. Because we have a common enemy right now. And in my current state, I don't stand a chance on my own. And because you don't seem to be faring any better as a result of waging so many consecutive battles recently, it seems sense for us to call a truce for the time being. His logic had to be accepted by the others. Natsu was too proud to admit it, but he felt Jellal was onto something. After this is all over, I'm kicking your ass. He had one more thing to say. Again. This reminded Jellal of the time Natsu beat him. By then, I'll just have to make my getaway. One of Sasuke's arrays suddenly appeared from the sky and landed in front of the group. Sasuke, can you tell me what happened to your arm? Ultear made a casual remark, which irritated Sasuke to no end. Until Gray intervened, most of the fairy tale wizards and Wendy recognized him. Where did you come from? Gray inquired, to which Sasuke replied that Silva was now in Nirvana, but that he had just fled from Silva. Gray detailing in full what happened earlier confused everyone, especially Natsu. Wait a minute, says someone. Lucy exclaimed. You mean there's a fricking bloodthirsty wolf monster running amok with a powerful maniacal dark wizard at the same time? Some in the group were concerned, but Natsu's body was now engulfed in flames. Leave me to deal with that mud. I'll beat that thing up so badly that you won't recognize it. Gray made an offhanded remark while Natsu cracked his knuckles. More like, we won't recognize you once it's finished making you its bee. Natsu delivered a right hook to Gray, pushing him to respond, and everyone looked at the two with annoyance. Enough. Ultear yelled at them, compelling them to stop fighting. There's a maniacal madman man and a wolf monster running around here, and you morons are fighting at a time like this. Ultear reminded them a little of Urza, but unlike the redhead, they didn't dread Ultear. Silva suddenly leapt down and landed, generating a powerful shockwave that blasted the others back. Shit. The wolf has arrived. Gray had spoken the obvious, but it did not lessen the gravity of the situation. Ultear then turned to face Sasuke and signaled. Ultear sent the signal to Jellal as well as Sasuke. Gray used magic to protect the others, forming numerous layers while Silva tore through his defense. Jellal shot Natsu back with a huge fireball. Ultear waved to him and the other two as Sasuke teleported them out of Nirvana's metropolis. Those cretins abandoned us. Gray's defenses were smashed, and Fairy Tale's resident showman was sent flying back. Silva charged at the females, attempting to strike them. Happy and Carla, on the other hand, carried them to the air. Kurama was quick enough to avoid being hit. Of all things, a werewolf. I guess I'll have to show them my combat form. Kurama reflected, but suddenly he felt a powerful power. He turned to face Natsu, who had consumed the fire Jellal had fired at him earlier, and released a big pillar of flames, drawing everyone's attention. Zero versus Naruto. What the hell? As Naruto and Zero approached the large pillar of fire, it began to fade. Natsu, you've gotten stronger. Then I'm not going to lose here. Zero returned his focus to Naruto and raised his black left palm to hit him, but Naruto grabbed his wrist and stopped him. His might is growing. As Naruto's body released a powerful shockwave, Zero was thrown back until he regained his footing. When he looked up, he was surprised to see Naruto's appearance change. Naruto had reactivated Poison Sea mode. Returning to Natsu, Natsu's flames turned gold. He obtained reptilian scales and features, including scale-like patterns on his skin, sharper fangs, and a more serious demeanor. Natsu had regained Dragon Force, the most powerful state of a dragon slayer. His new shape astounded his buddies, who all felt his increased power radiate from his body. Silva charged at him, Natsu staring him down and ready to strike. To be continued.
That's it for this podcast. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support and have a great day.